and welcome to this workshop on how to deal with customer complaints. We've called it From Terrorist to Apostle for two main reasons. First, when customers are unhappy, they do a huge amount of damage to our business. It can be financially expensive, it reduces your reputation in the marketplace, and has a dramatically negative effect on staff morale. Secondly, when you are skilled at dealing with complaints and you can turn your customers around, they can become your biggest supporters and may even become more loyal than your typical delighted customers. We will be taking you through a number of special customer service skills that you will need to deal with customer complaints and problems and to delight your customers. The videos will introduce each topic and show you some examples of well-handled situations as well as some poorly handled complaints. We'll begin it by looking at why it is so important to deal with complaints properly and then make some points about what customers want to see when they complain. I'll then share with you an easy-to-remember formula for dealing with customer complaints and a powerful technique to calm down angry people. We'll also talk about how to deal with the customer from hell, and finally, I will share with you some ideas for keeping calm whenever you find that you're losing it. You know, we get all types of customers in business. Some people are polite and courteous, and even when things go wrong, they are willing to give us a second chance to sort it out. But not everybody is like that. More often we get customers who feel that they need to make a scene to get a response. They think if they shout and insult everybody, they'll get a better deal or maybe even something for free. And when they walk into our business, there's unfortunately no tattoo on their forehead to warn us that they're coming to make trouble. The first important point I want to make here, however, is that just about all problems that we experience with our customers can quite easily blow out of all proportion. And your main job is to prevent things from getting worse. Of course, there are lots and lots of things that upset customers and cause unhappiness, but while many of them are preventable, many of them are not. These include things like products that go wrong, delays and queues, things that are complex or difficult, staff that are rude or indifferent, broken promises, and much more. That is the spark that causes them to feel unhappy, but then they start getting frustrated and angry and rude because those little mistakes or moments of inattention are ignored by one of us. What makes the situation worse is that customers feel that nobody in your company cares. The one thing that they hate more than anything else is apathy and indifference, where they think that you just don't acknowledge that they are unhappy or pay enough attention to them. When we analyze customer complaints, by far the majority of problems and negative consequences could have been easily avoided, provided the person dealing with the problem cared enough. So occasionally things will go wrong, and you won't pick them up in time to sort them out. This is when your ability to deal with the complaint is absolutely essential. Your skills in responding to the customer are vital, and that is what we want to teach you in this workshop. Having unhappy customers is not an option for any business, mainly because there are too many terrible consequences that we then have to live with. For example, unhappy customers hardly ever come back, which means we not only lose their current business, but all of the future business that they would have brought to us. And every part of our business is affected because they don't distinguish between one or other branch. For example, some will tell us, and when they do, they usually do so very negatively and aggressively. They make a scene in front of other customers and embarrass everybody. And when they complain, the information that we get is very one-sided. We have to drop everything to investigate what went wrong, to offer them a voucher or all sorts of other free things in order to try and make them feel a little bit better. This has a very poor effect, as you can imagine, on the morale and motivation of all of us. Managers get agitated and it's no fun at all coming to work. But the worst consequence of having unhappy customers is that they will tell a whole bunch of other people. In fact, we know from research that one unhappy customer may tell up to 20 others, and in the most severe cases, up to 35 others. They contact newspapers and radio stations, threaten to legally sue us. This means that our reputation takes a dive, and we then have to spend more money on marketing and advertising and PR efforts and try to attract new customers to replace the lost ones. But it doesn't have to be like that. The good news is that complaints give us a chance to learn something and to change something in our business. Even more importantly, if we're able to turn around unhappy customers, then because we were so skilled at dealing with the complaint, it creates a tremendous amount of loyalty and goodwill. But the best news is that it's not as difficult as it seems to deal with an upset customer. If you follow the basic rules that we will give you in this session, you will be able to deal with them perfectly every time. Now, let's start off by watching a typical customer complaint that you may encounter in your business.
How long is this going to take? What is the matter with you people?
It's coming.
So is Christmas. I have been here for 20 minutes and nothing is happening.
Well, you have to understand, we are busy, you know.
That's not my problem. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting, and you are just ignoring me. What does it take?
Just relax, there are lots of people before you. It's coming now.
I want to speak to your manager right now.
I am the manager.
In that case, just keep your bloody order.
Did you see how badly handled that was? The manager didn't even notice the irate customer because he was busy with something else, even though the customer gave some obvious clues that he was agitated. Then, when he eventually did notice how upset the customer was, he didn't really show any sense of urgency nor any willingness to sort out the problem. He didn't respond in a way to show the customer that he had really listened to and understood what was the problem. His attitude appeared to be almost that he couldn't care less about the problem, and needless to say, there was no effort made at all to solve the problem. Customers who complain don't usually start off very aggressively. For a while, sometimes for a very short while, they try to give us clues that something is wrong. For example, their facial expression is a dead giveaway. If they frown or glare at you or scowl and generally look unhappy, you have to be able to notice that. If their neck and shoulders are tense and their fists are bunched up, you can be sure that they are ready to start fighting. If they pace up and down, looking at their watch or playing with coins in their pocket or drumming their fingers on the counter, you have some obvious clues that they want some attention. Their tone of voice lets you hear how unhappy they are. But if you ignore these clues, it doesn't usually take long for them to shift from slightly irritated to very angry. And it is at this stage of extreme resentment that it becomes much more difficult to calm them down. So the sooner you notice the demanding and irate customer, the easier it will be for you to sort them out. But the longer it takes for you to respond, the more likely it is that they will eventually explode. So how could the encounter that we just saw earlier have been handled differently? Watch again as we see the same scene, but handled differently this time.